Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences.
Hello, everyone. My name is. Oh, sorry, the mic. I hit my mic. I'm so sorry. Not used to having it on. Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Sanon-Jules. We are here at the Cats in North Miami, and we are doing a. Florida Immigrant Coalition. Their mission is to grow the connection, capacity, and consciousness of communities to strengthen pro-immigrant power in Florida. And they do just that, to strengthen pro-immigrant power in Florida. I met Tessa Petit, the executive director of Florida Immigrant Coalition. I met her 4 years ago. I was in DC protesting for Haitian migrants, and I ran into her. I ran my own protest. My protest was so tiny, like only a few people showed up. And then she said, "We're having a protest tomorrow. We didn't know about what you were doing. I didn't even know you, but would you stay?" And I got to stay with Florida Immigrant Coalition an extra day. Not only did I get to protest with them, walk the streets with thousands of people, it made my little protest look, tiny, but they let me speak in tell the story of my grandmother who came here from Haiti, pregnant but fleeing an abusive situation. And they let me tell the story of my cousin who was crossing over through Chile, going to the border and got stuck at the border and then sent back to Mexico. Like, they let me tell the story, and so they have been fighting for immigrant rights for a very long time. I just wanted to give them their props. So thank you, Flip. Thank you. All right. Agenda. So today we will, number one, learn about our rights. Everyone, regardless of immigration status, has rights. Number two, learn about best practices. If you or a loved one have an encounter with the police or immigration agents, ICE or CBP, we're going to learn the best practices. And then number three, we are going to learn how to create a family preparedness plan. All of these things are very, very important. Okay? Know your rights. Here we go. Oh, let me read that disclaimer really quickly. This information is only a recommendation and should not be substituted for legal advice. If you have been to any of our town halls, we stress. Our first step is to consult with an attorney, and our second step is to hire an attorney. That's how serious this is, okay? So we're giving you this, but if you know someone that is on TPS, I need you to make me one promise that you are going to have them call Flick. They give free consultations every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Free consultations with an attorney. Every Wednesday. If you know somebody on TPS, they can call Flick. That's FLIC.org. You go on their website. You can schedule and meet with an attorney. So that is step number one. But what you're learning today should not be substituted for legal advice. Okay. All right. So we are going to talk a lot about two main constitutional rights in the Constitution. And remember, the Constitution, when we read these rights, is for any person. It does not say citizen. The rights are for any person. So number one, you have the right to remain silent and not answer questions. Okay? That comes from the Fifth Amendment. So if you encounter the police or ICE, the first thing you say, I do not wish to speak with you, answer your questions, or sign or hand you any documents based on my Fifth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. Okay? You don't answer any questions. Now, remember, we all watched those cop shows growing up, right? And they said, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and what? And they will use it against you. So please, everyone, I need to get in the camera so you can see me. Everyone, you do not have to be a citizen. The Constitution says any person that is here in the United States, any person that is here in the United States, okay, has Fifth Amendment right protections. Number two, to not be searched without a probable cause, okay? You have these rights to not be searched without a probable cause. You will say, I do not give you permission to enter my home based on my Fourth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution unless you have a warrant to enter signed by a judge or magistrate with my name on it that you slide under the door. So you say, I do not consent to a search. ICE knocks on your door. Okay? They must have a warrant. The warrant has to be signed by a judge. It has to have your name on it. If it does not have your name on it, you do not consent to a search. Okay? You do not consent to a search. And then I do not give you permission to search any of my belongings based on my Fourth Amendment rights. I choose to exercise my constitutional rights. Am I free to go? These are really important things. Now, on a side note, I teach a mentoring program to inner city youth. And shout out to the National Cares Mentoring Program. And I teach them on their rights. Now, I teach them these rights because we have young black boys and black girls. And so I never thought that I would be having, I just taught this lesson a few months ago. I didn't think I was going to have to teach this lesson for, immigrants. But it's the same thing. We watch the video and, the video shows a guy getting pulled over, this is not, even if you feel like you have something to prove, like, oh, you want to come to my house, you want to see what I got, fine. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's better for you to tell them, I do not consent to a search. And am I free to go? That's a very important question, because if you're not free to go, then what does that mean? That means they're detaining you. So are you detaining me, or am I free to go? You have to know, right? So all of these are your rights. If you forget at any point, just remember, in the Constitution, you can just Google it, Fourth and Fifth Amendment, they are your friends. They protect you. All right? Any questions? Awesome. Okay. Oh, wait, really quickly. I want to go back really quickly to the one. I knew I had one more thing I wanted to say. Christine Noem is not a judge. Okay? She is the Department of Homeland Security. She's the head of the Department of Homeland Security. But she's not a judge. ICE cannot just give you a warrant with her signature on it. It must have a judge or a magistrate. That's it. Okay? If someone on CPS gets into an encounter with ICE, the best thing for you to do, yes, just remain silent. You want to make sure that you protect yourself. I do not encourage anyone to get into an altercation with anyone, because the goal is to make it home alive, right? But do not offer information that they don't need, because chances are they don't have any. Okay, don't give them something that they don't have. So make sure it's signed by a judge and have them clearly see it. Okay, private places. Immigration agents do not have the right to enter private spaces without your permission or a judicial warrant. Okay? This place that we are in right now, is this private or public?
Public.
Is it? It's private.
Private.
It is private. If I showed up at that door, the owner of this establishment has the right, to say, hey, you can't enter into here. And I see Sandra. What, you shaking your head? You shaking your head?
No, you know me, it's kind of like,
But legally, we're talking legally. Will they still probably enter? But can you exercise your right and say, listen, I don't allow you in my establishment? They will probably do whatever they want anyway, but you have to make it verbal. And all I'm saying is the law says that immigration agents do not have the right to enter private spaces without your permission or a judicial warrant. Okay? But like a library is public, right? What else is public? What are some other, a park? A park is public. Public schools, yes. There are some, which stores are public?
Like grocery stores.
Grocery stores are still private because they're not owned by the government. So if it's owned by the government, it's public. If it's privately owned, then it's private. Okay? All right. Any questions on that? attend my training because I see a lot of people circulating these signs that they are asking business owners to put up on their establishment saying we do not allow ICE agents in here. I asked about them in the training and they said they don't know necessarily, number one, that it's effective, that it would stop anybody, but at least it makes a stance. So I just wanted to put that out there. There are people that are trying to encourage business owners to make a public statement saying, listen, we don't allow that here. But either way, you know what the law says. Immigration at your home. This is a big one. This is a big one. I don't know if everybody saw that video of this gentleman in North Miami. He was taking his garbage out. He never made it back inside his house. ICE pulled up. While he was taking his garbage out, they got him. Done deal. So, immigration at your home, because they are showing up. Number one, do not open the door. If you open the door and allow the official to come into the house, this can be considered giving him or her consent to enter. Okay? You can talk to them through the door. They can slide whatever they have under your door. Okay? Do not open the door. Ask to see the warrant. Ask the officer to slip the warrant underneath the door or show it through the window. Okay? Slip it under the door or show it through the window. Oh, remember, we're not going to stress this enough. Only a warrant signed by a judge and with your correct information gives the officer permission to enter your home without your consent. Okay? Correct information. So if your name is Marie Joseph and the warrant says Marie Ann, whatever, but doesn't say Joseph, it's not correct. Okay? So only a warrant signed by a judge and with your correct information gives the officer permission to enter your home and home without your consent. Immigration at your work. Anyone, including ICE, can access public spaces. They cannot search private areas of your workplace, such as an office or kitchen that is closed to the public without a judicial warrant. That judicial warrant is everything, okay? Ask to see the warrant. The warrant must have the name of the business and the area that agents are allowed to search. All of that has to be in there. Now, stay calm. Ask your workers to stay calm too. Do not run to the exits. Remember to not answer any question and ask to speak to a lawyer. Everyone has the right to their attorney, okay? So the only words coming out of your mouth is, number one, based on my Fifth Amendment rights, I don't have to answer any questions, and I would like to speak to my attorney. That's it. You're not answering any questions. You want to speak to your attorney. Make that very, very clear. Okay? Everyone needs to have an attorney. I cannot stress that enough. Yes?
If you don't have an attorney, they won't provide, right?
No.
You cannot, so you need an attorney.
So that is why it is so important. If for anyone that can make it to one of our town halls, please come to our town halls. We're having them everywhere. We go through the steps of what everyone needs, and attorney is number one. Number one. Okay? Everyone needs to get an attorney right now. Like before you brush your teeth, go get an attorney. Okay? So, but yes, stay calm. A lot of videos are circulating on like TikTok, Instagram, and everything like that, and people are frantic, and ICE has so much power over you mentally. But once you equip yourself with the knowledge, you can breathe, you can stay calm, you know your rights legally. You don't have to freak out. You can just say, listen, I'm not answering any questions. I'd like to see my attorney. That's it. If they're gonna arrest you, they're gonna arrest you. You get arrested. Stay quiet the entire time. Okay? Awesome. All right. Your rights in action. Number 1, do not provide any information about your immigration status. Okay? When I tell you, listen, my grandmother used to say, you don't need to tell everybody your business. Okay? My grandma was very secretive. Very, very secretive. Meaning, like, we found out things about her after she died. That's what I want everybody to be like. No, we're not saying anything. Okay? Even if you have, like a lot of, oh, I'm a citizen, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. You start spewing out things, just stay quiet. Don't provide any information about your immigration status. Do not lie. I'm going to point to Sandra to give us a story about that in just a minute. But do not lie. Do not give false documents. Do not carry papers from another country. If you do, the government can use this information in a deportation proceeding. Okay? Don't provide any information about your immigration status. Do not lie. Do not give false documents. Do not carry papers from another country. If you do, the government can use this information in a deportation proceeding. Sandra, can you elaborate on that? Because people are like, lie? Why would anybody lie or whatever?
So when you say, you mean, because there's a bunch of different stages and you really shouldn't lie in any of them, right?
Yes.
The only one that they halfway understand is that sometimes people enter the country with documents that don't belong to them, and they may not have a choice but to do that, right? So they understand if you had like a stamp in your passport that wasn't yours and you came in, that's usually understood. But when you start speaking to the attorney, you need to tell us everything, tell us the truth. And that's the moment where the truth is even more important, because we have what they call attorney-client privilege. So even if you tell us something, we can't tell them all the things you said. But it's better for you to let us know everything so we'll know how to prepare for your case, so the government doesn't surprise us with something at the hearing. When we talk about fake documents, right? Maybe people use it to come in, and I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying that happens. Even if it does, there are waivers if you win your case and all those types of things. But when you're actually presenting your case, so say for example, you're doing an asylum case, do not submit fake documents in an asylum case, because they go and send those documents over to a lab to verify if those documents are correct and they're good documents, and they can tell if they're fake. Even when people put signatures, if you put a signature of a well-known person in your country, they actually have documents with the signatures that they can compare if that document was actually signed by that person. So in your case, you're better off saying, listen, these are all of the efforts that I made. I could not get the document, instead of paying someone money for them to produce something for you that's fraudulent. Because I had a person who won his case, but because he gave us fake documents, when they came back and it turned out it was fake, the judge had to take the asylum from him because he used fake documents, even though he had won the case. But it turns out the documents he had presented was false, and he actually could have won the case. He would have won it without producing the documents at all. So he made it worse by producing the documents.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yes.
You said don't provide any information about your immigration status. Who's that to?
The ICE.
Oh,
Yes. Don't. You only talk to your attorney. This is what I'm saying, like, as they're taking you, putting you in the detention center, questioning you, only speak to your attorney. Do not give this information to anyone else. That was a good question. We had one of our attendees ask, who do they not give the information to? We're talking about ICE. We're talking about law enforcement. You only give this information to your attorney. Okay?
Can I expound on that a little bit?
Yes.
Because they pretty much know who you are anyway. They're going to print you, and if you were ever printed for anything else, they'll have that information. And it's better to just absolutely don't lie about that, right? Even though that happens, but they usually know who it is that they're looking for, because if they're looking for you, they know who you are, and they can. The databases are connected so much so that they're able to find out what your status is anyway, because now the law enforcement agencies do have access to immigration.
Okay, I do have a question. But like in a situation like this, say like when you don't have a lawyer and you're searching to find a lawyer, is it like good to just monthly like say everything off the table? You don't really know if you're getting or if you're gonna proceed with this lawyer or not.
Oh.
I don't understand the question. Say
if
what?
They give you a lawyer, or if you're like,
Or if I do my own research and find a lawyer, and you know how you do consultations, so they ask like a little bit of background information. Like, is it safe to just go and just fill out your whole beans
To the
you
lawyer?
don't even know if you're gonna proceed with this lawyer?
To the lawyer?
Yeah.
Yes, because attorney-client privilege actually started at the consultation. So even if you end up not hiring that attorney, whatever they told you in that consultation, they can't disclose it. That's why I personally don't do free consultations when I was in private practice, because I'm like, I'm on the hook to keep that information and I get no money. But even the information that's provided at the consultation, they can't go and tell anybody any of the things you said to them. Okay.
And remember, Flick offers free consultations on Wednesdays. Free consultation on Wednesdays. We have another question. Yes.
When you say do not carry papers for the trip, what are would that be if you're on the case? Because you're not supposed to be
So, Sandra, I'm gonna ask your help on that one.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
So why is it best to not carry papers from another country?
Oh, so in Florida, there's a couple reasons why you don't want, like, for example, in Florida, you don't want to have a foreign driver's license on you, because you're actually not allowed to drive in the state with a foreign driver's license. That's my understanding. So that can probably get you in more trouble. So you probably shouldn't be driving if you don't have a Florida license anyway. And if you have a foreign driver's license, I think recently the legislator has passed. They made it criminal to have those documents and operate in a vehicle. So you're adding additional charges to yourself, right? I think you may be better off with a no valid than to have operate in a vehicle with a foreign license or something like that. But that's more for someone that's really in the criminal defense space to explain that. But if you have foreign documents, like, so we probably should break that down a little bit, right? So if you're a foreign national, you're in the United States visiting, and your I-94 and your time that you're allowed to visit is good, then you would probably want to have those, right? That still doesn't prevent them from, harassing you, detaining you, saying they're going to revoke it, but at least you were supposed to have them. Now, if they're if the documents have expired and you're out of status, you may not want to have those documents on you, because it could be problematic.
Awesome. Thank you.
But what I want to make clear is that you cannot your identity, what's the way to say this, you can't suppress your identity with immigration, right? Like, so once they know who you are, they know who you are. You can't say, oh no, you found out who I was by using blah blah blah. So there's really no way to suppress your identity, for example. Now, whether or not you give them other additional information to make it easier for them to do whatever, that you don't, you have constitutional protections against that.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Do not sign any document. Do not sign any document, okay? So, do not sign any document before speaking with a lawyer. Be aware that government officials may try to intimidate you or trick you into signing. Do not let yourself be tricked. You may be signing away your right to a hearing before an immigration judge. Do you want to touch on that too?
Okay. I think I'm gonna just stay standing up. All right. So this is
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So the idea of not signing anything. So some people may say, why are you being so resistant, right? I always want to tell people, like, read the room. Like, don't not sign something and you end up getting hurt because you're dealing with a person that may be a little bit more aggressive than normal, right? But at the end of the day, especially if they're trying to serve you with something that's called a notice to appear, if you sign it or not, if they're going to put you in proceedings, they can put you in proceedings anyway. It's going to say refuse to sign, but it doesn't stop from you being in the proceedings. So, but if you're a person who doesn't read or write English or anything, they may, there's a part on it where a person may have a right to go in front of an immigration judge to ask for a bond reconsideration. And if you don't know, maybe that person may have, and I'm not going to try to act like they're all nefarious, but what if they checked off that you do not want to go in front of the judge for bond reconsideration and you signed off on the bottom of that document? So that may be one of the reasons why we'll say be careful about signing things, because you may actually sign a waiver of your rights without realizing that you're doing that. And they have this other process that's called expedited removal. People are signing, they say, oh, we're gonna, you did your interview, here's this paper, we're serving you, you're just signing service. And you're actually also signing that you agree that you're an expedited removal and that they can remove you, and that you don't have the right to go back in front of a judge for a bond. So there's additional things that's on that form that you may give your attorney more opportunities to argue if you if you refuse to sign it, right? So that may be part of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed that clarity. Awesome. Okay. Rapid Response Alliance for Immigrant Safety and Empowerment. Okay? This is the hotline. That's the hotline number. And the website is RAISE, RAISE.is. Please save this hotline number. Okay? If you can call if you see someone's being detained, or if you're being detained yourself, if you see that there's ICE in a specific location, you can call. And at the very top, they have all the different languages: English, Spanish, Creole, and Portuguese. 1-888-600-5762. 1-888-600-5762. Okay, now we're going to talk about your family plan. It is very important to put a plan in place for your family. Now, everything we are talking about has to do with encounters with ICE. This is if you're being detained. This is if you went to work one day and you're not making it back home because, for whatever reason, ICE got you at work or on your way home. Okay? So your family plan. And I just want to give a shout out to my little friend Jace, who's knocked out and so cute. Oh my God. I can't deal with this. So cute. Okay. Family preparedness plan. Number 1, know your rights, which you all just learned. Number 2, emergency contact list. Number 3, important documents. Okay? Your plan helps your family in case someone is detained and is at risk of deportation. It is very important to have a plan. I know there's a saying, I don't know it. All I know is that if you don't plan to fail, you fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? We don't want anybody to be detained. But the chaos and the fear that you're seeing on TikTok and Instagram and all these places is because people don't know what's going on or what to do. Once you know what to do, once you have put a plan in place, I'm not saying it's going to be, roses and walks on the beach, but you're going to be a lot more calm. And you're going to be a little more at ease knowing that you got everything ready. Okay? So let's get into it. Personal documents, okay? So you need to make sure that you have your proof of identity, your passport, your consulate ID, association cards, your birth certificate, and any immigration paperwork. You need to have all of that. Put it in a manila envelope somewhere that, only certain people know exactly where it is, right? Prepare all of that. your proof of identity, your birth certificate, your immigration paperwork, and everything else that you have, passport, consular ID, association cards. Okay? Your proof of physical presence, receipts, your utility bills, your rent payments, your insurance, your mortgage, your car registration, your bank statements, your paychecks. You've got to take a day to sit down and put it all together. It is your proof of physical presence. Once again, utilities, rent, insurance, mortgage, car registration, bank statements, paycheck. Any questions so far? All of this should be prepared. All of this should be prepared in an envelope. Your proof of good moral character. Support letters from your employer, from your friends, community organizations, and faith leaders. Let me talk to the audience really quickly. Hey everyone that's watching on Instagram. Hello everyone that's watching on YouTube, Race and the Races. I just want to let you know, if you know someone that's on TPS, if you know someone, if it's a family member, a friend, do me a favor, just start writing that letter right now. They may not know to even ask you or come to you, but just have it ready. Say, this person's a great person. One day I was running late for work. They got there and picked up my shift for me, or they've always been so kind and helpful, a hard worker. Just prepare these for them, because they may not even know that they need it. Okay? And some people may not even want to ask. I know, my people can be prideful sometimes. So just, out of the kindness of your heart, if you know someone that is on TPS, you know what? Let me write you a letter of good character, of good moral character. They're going to need it right now. Okay? So tell them to get a letter from their employer, friends, community organizations, and faith leaders. Legal power documents. In our town halls, we have attorneys that show up that talk about power of attorney. Okay? It's very, very important that you tell your family and friends that are on TPS to please speak to an attorney about power of attorney. Someone that is used. We recommend Natalie Demesman, who has been coming to our town halls, but I know that Flick also can refer you. So please, 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 Flick will actually, I think, they provide that service. Okay? So, legal power documents, your guardianship if you have children. Who's going to be in charge of your children if you get detained? You need to organize that with your attorney, but prepare those documents. And then your power of attorney, limited or general. We talk about whoever you trust as your power of attorney. It doesn't have to be the power of attorney for everything. Let's say you trust someone with your business, but maybe you don't trust them with your house. So you get someone that you can trust to run your business for you. You give them power of attorney over that. You trust someone to be in charge of your house and your mortgage and all that stuff. You give them power of attorney over that. Okay? Any questions on that? No? Okay. I know it's a lot. A lot of people have come, they have set up their lives, they've lived, they have lived here, they feel like probably their whole lives, 20, 30 years. They have a lot. But they need all of this to build their case. Or they need all this because what if you need to know what medication somebody takes? You don't even know that, right? So you need to put your whole life on paper. Medical records, your insurance cards, your emergency contact lists. For victims of crime only, you need documents about the case if you were part of a crime or witness of a crime or whatever the case is. For individuals collaborating with police, documents related to collaboration. You need all of that. For me, medical records is so important. If somebody, previously had cancer, or maybe they have like an implant or something, or maybe they have diabetes, like it's just really important to have all of that. Okay, I'll leave it up for just a minute so you can all write.
What is the last bullet?
For individuals collaborating with police, documents related to collaboration. So let's say there was an investigation happening in your area, maybe you were a witness to it or something like that, and the police need you for a specific investigation. Any evidence that you had or anything that you're using relates to that collaboration, but not necessarily saying that you had something with the police.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Ask your question. I'll answer.
I don't understand the point of that.
Okay, so let me add to that. So one of the reasons why we encourage people to have a consultation, invest in an attorney, is because sometimes people may have ways for them to get status and they don't know it. For example, if you were a victim of a crime in the United States and you assisted the state or law enforcement with either arresting or prosecuting that person, you're eligible for something that's called a U visa, right? And so you would want to keep that paperwork, in order for you to show that you were in fact a victim of a crime and that you assisted law enforcement. Because sometimes maybe it's years later that you find this out, and then you're contacting the agency. Maybe the officer isn't there anymore, and you have say, no, this was the officer, this is their name, this is their badge number, this was the charge. Can y'all sign this certification for me in order for me to go and get the U visa? So that's one of it, right? Then the other thing that people sometimes do, and this usually affects maybe a resident that's trying to become a citizen. Oftentimes people are embarrassed about maybe the fact that they were arrested for something, and then they go and the case is dismissed after they've done probation, and they get the record sealed or expunged, right? Now, when you apply for citizenship, you got to tell it, you got to show it. You got to give them a certified copy of that police report. And if the agency, the clerk's office destroyed it, and you can't produce a copy, they won't let you naturalize. So you want to have those documents for yourself, that when you do go to citizenship, you be like, listen, yes, this was still an expunged. Here's the arrest report. Here's the disposition of the case. Here's all of this stuff, and you have it, and you can present it to them in that situation. So, and then when you're applying for residency or whatever, you have to do a background check anyway as part of the criteria. Even though they do your prints and do a national check, you're still supposed to provide a clearance letter for all of the places that you live. So those are just examples of where you would have to, produce police documents.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. You're just amazing. I love having you here. All right. Your emergency plan. Okay? Let me step over here. Talk to your family members and coworkers so that they are informed on what to do. We're gonna have to have some hard conversations, right? Things are just different these days. So talk to your family members and coworkers so that they are informed on what to do. Remember, remain calm, do not run. Carry your card with the contact information of your immigration attorney and the flip hotline, 1-888-600-5762. If you have children or elderly relatives, make arrangements in advance for a family member or friend to care for them if you are detained. Keep a copy of all immigration documents, okay? A copy, not the original. Keep a copy of all immigration documents, okay? So this is all your emergency plan, all right? So, if everybody has their phones, you can scan provides the entire family preparedness plan for you. It's a checklist of everything that you're gonna need. Okay? Please take a moment right now and scan the screen. Okay, so once you scan it, you're gonna see that you have an entire packet here, okay? Those of you that are watching, once you scan, you see that you're gonna get this whole packet. If you cannot scan this, those that are watching, you can go on the Flick website, flick.org, and you can download it. Okay, you can click and then it'll download it. So it has everything that you need. You just fill in the blanks, your emergency contacts. It has a checklist for your documents, and then it has a what to do if your loved one is detained by ICE. Okay? It provides everything there for you. Thank you so much for joining us in this presentation. Please join us in acknowledging Flick members and partners who design materials and resources utilized in this workshop. We have Race Florida Rapid Response Alliance for Immigrant Security and Empowerment, CASA of Maryland, Detention Watch Network, National Immigration Project of the National Lawyers Guild, Americans for Immigrant Justice, Hope Community Center, Immigration Law Resource Center. Clap it up and thank you. Awesome.
Thank you, Christine.
Oh, thank you. So right now is just the Q&A portion of this. I am gonna ask our amazing attorney, Sandra Sheffre, to come and join me right here. And we're gonna just open it up for a quick dialogue, a Q&A. Hold on. Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So we are just going to sit here and just answer any questions that you might have. Yes. All right. Okay, so for those of you that have been to our town halls, this is very different, right? This is an actual workshop. We have been having these town halls where we give our 8 steps of what to do in this current political climate, and it has been really fruitful. I want to say that we're doing some town halls are public, meaning we're inviting everyone to come out, and we've done some private town halls that you guys don't even know about. We didn't promote because these were facilities that asked us to do this town hall for their TPS recipients, and they didn't want anyone to know that it was happening. Let me tell you, those two that we did were really impactful. What we did here at the Cats and at Casa Champette was powerful as well, but being in a room with people that are scared, that don't want anyone to know that they're getting this information from us, and being able to ease their minds, that gave me chills. We're impacting real people, and you coming here to learn and train and learn about these rights and how to bring the information back, that is crucial. What I realized this week and what I realized today, people just want information. They just want to know. When a government does something so strong as, enforce something, change the enforcement of something every single day, without direction on how to navigate around these changes, it creates unnecessary chaos. Okay? So we are here to answer any questions. I am just an advocate, so I'm learning as you're learning. I'm just providing the safe space to talk about it, really. And Sandra's really the wealth of knowledge. So, does anyone have any questions?
I do, but not right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Okay. And so one of the things we wanted to say about the private spaces we were in, these were people that were studying, like they're students in school here trying to, improve themselves. There are people that were working, like they were like, I'm afraid to go to work. There are people that had children that are born in the United States that are in school and they're just afraid, right? So this wasn't like someone that committed a crime be like, okay, I committed this crime. How is it going to affect my immigration status? That's not who we were talking to. These were people who are here going to school, studying, working, trying to do all the things the right way. They have already filed applications. Like, I don't think we met anyone in any of those rooms that came here and immigration doesn't already know they're here by either stopping at the border and turning themselves in, not even getting caught. Because a lot of them did what they call that CBP1 program, where they said, listen, I want to come in. The government gave them a date to show up at the border. They showed up, processed their paperwork, and was paroled in. And then you have people who came in under the Biden program that gave them, their family members filed, provided all financial information to show that they can afford to have the people here. And they did that, right? And so that people showed that we have the money, we're going to make sure that this person is okay. And those folks came, they started already trying to learn English. They're taking classes, trying to get their degrees, and that type of thing. And these are the people that they have being in fear. So when you hear that information, that they're saying, oh no, we're getting all the bad guys. All of these people have committed crimes. That's not accurate. That is not accurate information. That's what they want to say to make people be supportive of what it is that they're doing, right? Because what they're doing is absolutely wrong. Because folks are here doing things the way they're supposed to in order for them to find ways to get status in the United States. So I just wanted to add that. And then the other reason why we really encourage people to have consultation and speak to attorneys is because there are ways. So part of what the administration claims that they're trying to get people to do, like even if they take one status away from you, that doesn't mean that there's not another one that you're eligible for, right? I spoke to this person, and she has a son that's a lawful permanent resident that's eligible for citizenship. If he becomes a citizen, he can apply for her so she can become a resident. But a lot of times people don't know these things, right? She has a family member who had already won an asylum case. We need to get copies of that information, and that may assist with her asylum case, right? So you want to talk to someone so they can give you all of these different options, things that you may not know that's available to you. Like when I talked about people who are victim of a crime, a lot of people don't know that if you're a victim of a crime, there's a path to residency that can maybe eventually lead to citizenship that you can take advantage of, right? Not advantage in a negative way, but that's available to you and you can apply in that sense. So it's important to utilize the resources and have those consultations.
How do we know about the town hall?
Yes, well, we'll take your email down. So everyone that has been coming, we get your email address, and we also create a WhatsApp group, so we can add you to the WhatsApp group. But we're collecting information, and then we just follow us on our social media. We're pushing it out for the town halls that are public. We have one coming up next week in Lauderhill, and then we have Pompano after that. Yes. So Lauderhill on the 17th, Pompano on the 23rd, and then West Park on the 29th. Yes, so those are happening, and then we're gonna make our way back down to Miami. It's just after we did the Miami one, we got requests in Broward, and then the requests just kept coming in Broward, and we're gonna come back down to Miami. This is all just giving out the information. That's it. We're just giving out information.
And I want to give the address to the one that's in Lauderhill, since that's our next event. And I have the flyer right in front of me, but I have so many messages that
Oh.
are coming through.
Hold on. I have the flyer right here.
That I'm going to pull it up.
Hold on, hold
You got
on.
it right there?
It's right there. Hold on.
Well, that's the 12.
Which one? Oh, that's our
Lauderhill.
time.
Lauderhill.
Lauderhill. Lauderhill's on the screen.
Yeah, okay, Lauderhill's on the screen. So it's 1803 Northwest 38th Avenue in Lauderhill, Florida.
Yes.
Right, so make sure you check it out or send somebody to go. It will live stream that one too, but we really want people to come in person because it's just always, just better for community. Now, we're not trying to get someone, if you have TPS, don't come in person. Go ahead and watch it on the live stream.
Yes.
But if you're a resident citizen, because we don't want to bring anyone into a space and then something happens to them, right? So no, we'll live stream it. They can go listen. I was putting in information in the chat as we were going through. So if a person has a question, they can put it in the chat. We'll have someone, follow the chat to answer questions also. And we'll have a full panel there.
Yes. Yes. We have immigration attorneys that show up. I think the next workshop that we do with the Know Your Rights, we can probably make it a physical workshop where we can maybe have printouts of the family preparedness checklist, so we can hand it out and people can just start checking through, and maybe have someone come and at least talk about the power of attorney. I think that would be helpful when we're talking about the preparedness. So as we keep doing these, we'll keep adding and making it so that it's resourceful for you.
And hopefully it was resourceful today too.
Yes.
Someone took a
Was it resourceful? Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. Yes.
Are you an attorney?
I am.
Are you?
I'm an attorney, but I'm not taking cases. But I can refer you to someone who will. We have an attorney, Ronald Surin. He's been practicing he probably only has a year on me. He's been practicing maybe a year longer than I have, and his office does free consultations. He comes, he's been on a couple of the panels, and we have his information, and we can provide that to you, and you can reach out to him. And he's doing that, but I'm not taking cases. So,
Would you be able to say anything in Creole for some of the viewers?
what you want us to say?
They might have been lost in some of this conversation. Just a little overview.
Oh, okay.
Summary.
So maybe just explaining to them that that they have all of this information on Flick and Creole. So I can show them where to get all of this information on the website. I'm going to pull up the website.
Okay. All right. So,
But actually, I also have the PowerPoint in Creole too.
okay.
So if they
So
want,
maybe they can reach out to you on the information that's on the flyer, and you can send it to them, right? Join the WhatsApp group, and we can provide it.
yes. So okay. All right. So let's say this.
You gonna say that, Priya?
I'm gonna do my best.
All
Let's do
right.
this. Okay. Si ou bezwen tout informasyon sa nan kreol mwen genyen, s'il te plaît, est-ce que vous where should they email?
I don't have.
Or they can text me.
Yeah, just you have that number. The WhatsApp
Yes,
public
you
number,
can
right?
text me. You can text them on WhatsApp or on my cell phone. Okay? 305 978 5088. Oui, ok, si vous besoin tout ça dans créole, ou mais texte c'est Christine, s'il te plaît, moi besoin tout reçoit, is that how you say resource? Ça dans créole parce que je ne comprends your maudit. So then say, just text me 305 978 5088.
Okay, so are you gonna put up the flick? So let them parler aujourd'hui. Il y a une organisation qui Christine te fait une session avec eux pour y avoir information ça pour aider peuple là, right? Allez dans le website qui est www.flic.org. Flick.org. So check your website là. Moun sa yo kon bay consultation avec un avocat gratis les mercredis à 2h après-midi. Pour participer dans la consultation, ça, vous pouvez vous enregistrer avec eux et puis il y a une date. Il y a plusieurs avocats qui parlent avec vous. Si et puis vous voulez connaître, c'est pas comme si vous allez parler dans une chambre qui y a plusieurs monde là-dedans. C'est vous-même avec avocat qui parler et puis vous faites session privée pour parler avec avocat pour faire information pas privée. Vous faites en personne dans le bureau et puis vous pouvez faire sur Zoom. So dès pou enregistrer dans www.flic.org, ou registrer, il y a bon appointment, il y a bon link Zoom nan pour vous, sous pas qu'à venir en personne, pour qu'à faire consultation avec avocat, et puis vous faites ça chaque mercredi à 2 en après-midi. Ok? C'est une information, nous voulons faire ouais, qui est très vraiment important, c'est si vous dans une situation ça, côté ou bien vous cherchez un genre, vous changez de statut, s'il vous plaît, faire une consultation avec un avocat immigration. Il y a plusieurs avocats qui font consultation gratis, so faire une consultation. You want me to stop?
No, just for 1 minute, okay? Because loanaflic.org, l'a changé, and it's going to say floridaimmigrant.org, mais c'est le même bagage, okay? It's the same website, c'est le même site là, okay?
Et puis, ok, un autre bagage sur le site ça tout, vous pouvez well, no, keep on long. You get
Yes.
Spanish to back.
Exactly.
Okay.
So seulement on the flag, chercher drapeau, chercher drapeau haïtien, mettez là, and then, et puis that's it. Oh, yes, this is true. Thank you. Okay, it's gonna be. All right, it's okay. I guess I can sort of get off it for a minute, but those that need to change the language, if you need to change the language on the Flick website and get all the information in Creole, just go to flick.org and then find the Haitian flag or whatever you speak. Now they got it all. They got it all right? And just select, these are those that are, these are the countries that are mostly dealing with immigration crises, especially here in Florida. Just find your flag, and everything is translated for you in Creole. And then the family preparedness is right here. And then you have it. You have everything in Creole. Okay? Everything. They have the checklist. You can download the checklist right here. Okay? And the checklist is not in Creole. That's okay. Okay? Let me not put my address over there. But anyway. Alright. So there you have it. Alright. Sorry. Someone else had a question. Did anyone else have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
What happened after once ICE has picked the individual up? What happens after that?
Okay, so Sandra, you want to go into that? What happens when ICE picks up an individual?
Okay, so when ICE picks up an individual, there's a bunch of things that can happen. It's like a range of things that can happen. That's why we want you to talk to an attorney ahead of time. And I'm not promoting an attorney because I'm talking financial benefit from it. I'm just saying that it's going to be beneficial to the person for them to know what their options are, and it can bring them some sense of calm, right? So when you get picked up by ICE, it's a couple things that can happen. So there are some people that ICE is picking up that they should not have picked up, well, we don't think, because the person either already had an application filed that's pending with immigration, they haven't really done anything that makes them a danger to the community or a flight risk, so they'll get detained. They all have an opportunity to go and see an immigration judge, and sometimes people would just have to go and ask for a bond, right? So that some people, when they get picked up, they'll be able to ask the judge to give them a bond. The judge will set a bond in their case, and they can be released in order for them to follow their case outside, right? Now, when you're when you get into immigration custody, if you have to post a bond, the minimum bond is $1,500. That's the minimum that you're going to get. On average here, they're about $2,500 to $5,000 in South Florida, but the minimum is $1,500 if you get a bond. Now, there's some people, because of the way they came in, the judge does not have the legal authority to give them a bond. They actually have to ask the deportation officer for that. So then what usually that's called is like a request for parole. So that's why you need to have a sponsor, and your sponsor has to be a person that's a resident or a citizen. Even the person that has to pay the bond for you, they have to be a resident or a citizen.
So, and that sponsor has to be willing to show that they have the financial ability to support you, that they're willing to do that. They have to show proof of their status, and also you also have to show income. So oftentimes they ask for like they have them fill out an affidavit of support document that includes a tax return. So either you can, if you're detained, you can get go in front of a judge, have a right to get a bond. If you don't, you may be able to ask for parole. And they're in all detention facilities have courts, right? So they all have a court, and so you have the opportunity to see a judge. Some people who are not able to bond out, what they're going to have to do is do their hearings while they're in the detention facility, because all of the places have judges. Even if the judges are not on site, they're connected to a court where they'll have access to a judge. So you can have to see the judge, do your entire case in front of that judge. If you win, you walk out the door again. If you lose, you have a right to file an appeal, but they're still not gonna release you, and you have to put all of that detained. Some people, they may be eligible for something that's called voluntary departure. That means that you can leave the United States without actually getting deported. So if you're eligible for voluntary departure, they'll allow you to you have to buy your own plane ticket, and you have to have a document that allows you to travel to your country, right? So some people, they can go on their own, at their own expense. The benefit of that is that it doesn't ever show up that you were deported. It shows that you left. So if you needed to come back, you have a family member that can file for you, you can come back without having an issue, because you were able to leave the United States without a deportation order, right? Now, there's some people that are going to get picked up. They already had a deportation order, and so it was just a matter that it wasn't what they call executed, meaning that they weren't physically removed from the United States. So some people, they're going to go into detention, and because they were already deported, they're going to get physically removed from the United States. Now, there are some ways that even if you have an order, that you can still stay, but those are just a little too technical for the purposes of what we're doing today. And that's why, again, we encourage people to already have spoken to an attorney if you know that potentially you can be one of these people that may have some sort of interaction with ICE, right? There's one last point I want to make. All of these people who are lawful permanent residents of the United States, for a long time, there was very little difference between being a resident and a citizen. And even I wasn't born here. I'm a naturalized citizen. And even for me, I was like, no, there's no difference. And then traveling started to become a difference. Now there's a huge difference with being a resident or a citizen. Because one of the things that oftentimes people don't understand is when you're a resident, every time you leave and you go to the airport, you're actually asking the United States permission to come back in. And there are certain times, depending on what you may have done, may have said, they can actually say no to you and you can't come back in, right? So if you're a resident and you're eligible for citizenship, if you're married to a United States citizen, you can apply for citizenship 3 years after you get your green card. If you're not married to a United States citizen, you can get your green card. You can apply for citizenship 5 years after getting your green card. If you're in that category, this is the time where you need to go and apply and become a citizen of the United States. I mean, these folks are not playing. They're even talking about trying to find ways to take away people's citizenship. But if you're a resident and you're eligible, go ahead and do it. And remember, I said you're eligible. Now, if you're one of those, so I'm going to say something about the older Haitian community, just because they don't like to stay here. They want to go to Haiti, stay there for 6 months, come back. They want to go for 5 months, come back for a month. You have to be very careful if you're one of those people who stay out of the United States for significant amounts of time, because they may think that you've abandoned your residency, because when you apply for citizenship, you have to show that you were here for 30 months out of the last 5 years. Again, I'm getting a little technical, but if you travel a lot, make sure you talk to someone before you apply for citizenship, because you may be 1 day off. And if you are, that just means that you got to wait a month or two before you apply, so you can accrue the 30 months before the 5 years. So be careful of that. If you've been arrested for certain crimes, make sure you speak to someone to make sure that arrest isn't going to put you in more problems, because some people, they just need to stay residents. So make sure you do that. So usually, if you owe child support, if you have children outside of your marriage, because there's also a good moral character component to citizenship that people don't think about. So that's why if you got, a little bit of drama, talk to somebody before you apply in order for you not to put yourself in a worse situation. But we absolutely, absolutely want to encourage lawful permanent residents of the United States to go ahead and apply for citizenship. It may not only help you, it may also help another member of your family that's in this status that's preventing them from remaining in the country.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm telling you, I learned something new every day. Now, what I learned at our first town hall, did anyone even know that you can get bonded out of the detention centers? You know, right? And some of the bonds start as low as $1,500 and they go up to, well,
I've seen a lot. I've seen 20, 40,000. So yeah.
depending on what your record is.
What you did, yeah.
But it's possible. So we're sharing a lot of knowledge. I just ask that you would invite someone else that you know that could benefit from this conversation. The next time we have it, just say, hey, listen, I went to it. I learned a lot. Go to it. We're also working on a TV special so we could film everything in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Creole, so that we have all this information in a video format that can be shared. Okay? Awesome. Thank you all. Oh, yes. Hold on. One more.
last question.
No, it's okay.
Okay, like during this time, for people who are on CPS, do you even recommend like even applying? Because I know like this stuff is on pause and like frozen.
So I would say apply. If you're eligible, apply, because this isn't the first time the current administration has tried to take away TPS. He did that before. And what they end up doing, because you can't really like take it away in that sense, but what they do is like they don't open up the registration period for people to apply once it expires. Right? So right before it's supposed to expire, they're supposed to open up a 60-day re-registration or registration period for people to either reapply or apply new. They just won't open that up. So that's typically what they end up doing to force people, to not be able to have it. However, as long as there are a court order that says that you can't cancel it, those work authorizations and everything are good, right? Until something actually comes out from a federal court that says, okay, the administration did all of the things that they were supposed to do in order for them to end this program, and it's officially ended. So if it's not officially ended, it's not ended. Typically what they do is that they don't open the registration and re-registration period for people to apply.
So based on that information, thank you very much. The presentation is truly on time and excellent. I know of a number of Haitian doctors who have studied in the Dominican Republic, and they are also under contract with various counties whereby they are teaching. And most of the TPS status expires, including their work permit, in February. What do you recommend for these
So they
individuals?
didn't do so when you're if you're like a doctor or a researcher or someone that has that level of professional interest, there's something that's called a national interest waiver. That's really what they should pursue, because they're providing something that's in the national interest of the United States. So most of the attorneys that do that, that's one of the more pricier things to do, but it's absolutely worth it. So if someone's a doctor, a researcher, scientist, all that, they should look into maybe doing like a national interest waiver or something like that instead.
There's quite a few of them. Some of them I've sent to Canada, and they
Yeah.
have already received their permanent residence there, because the waiting period is much shorter.
Shorter there, yes.
But thereafter, they have to stay there for a period. I think it's 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they can do that, but they should look into national interest waivers.
I'm going to wait too.
Awesome. Well, this concludes. Listen, I said I was going to end at 3, and it's 2:59 right now. We did it. Thank you. And the little bit of time that you took out of your day, I hope that it was worth it, because you can then tell someone else, hey, listen, it wasn't that long. I learned a lot, and what I learned can help somebody. So thank you for doing your duty. God bless you. And to everyone that's watching, you don't have to be afraid. You just have to equip yourself mentally. Okay? So we're going to get the information to you however we can. but also do your work. You've got to put the work in, because no one can prepare all of these things for you. You're gonna have to do it for yourself. So please, please, let's all work together so that we can sort of mitigate this crisis as best as we can. All right. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Christine, you have a card number?
Hey y'all, Sandra Shefford, host of Racing the Races. Go ahead, please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Racing the Races. Subscribe to our TikTok page, Racing the Races, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, Racing the Races. Go ahead, support the page. I'm tired of getting crazy comments from these white dude trolls that's mad. Like, why y'all mad in the comments now? So come on, y'all, those who are fans of the show, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, comment on the video. Tell us what it is what else you would like to see, instead of me having to read all these trolling comments. But I see it as a compliment because I showed up in their feed and I really don't know who they are. And since they're not challenging the content is good. They want to make personal attacks, but that's okay. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to TikTok. All of it is called Racing the Races, and go ahead and like us on Facebook and Instagram.